Hi BL enthusiasts, this is Highlights Review Part 3 of Episode 14 of ABO Desire. The series hits us right in the heart because it centers on the heartbreaking separation between Gao Tu and Shen Wenlang. Their story has been building with tension, misunderstandings, and unspoken feelings for so long, and this episode finally brings everything to a painful breaking point. The way the show frames their relationship makes it clear that both of them loved each other deeply in their own ways, but circumstances and choices pushed them apart. Let's go through the highlights and talk about why this goodbye feels so devastating. The episode starts with the aftermath of Gao Tu's resignation from HS Company. This isn't just a simple job resignation, it's a life-changing decision. Gao Tu chooses to leave everything behind, including Shen Wenlang, because he has a bigger responsibility now, the baby in his stomach. That single choice explains everything about his character. Gao Tu has always been portrayed as strong but quiet, someone who carries burdens silently and puts others before himself. And now, with a child to protect, he sees no future if he stays by Shen Wenlang's side. This makes the goodbye even more painful because it isn't about falling out of love, it's about sacrifice. For Shen Wenlang, the loss is unbearable. His entire world has revolved around Gao Tu for so long that the sudden emptiness feels like suffocation. He doesn't just lose a colleague, he loses the one person who challenged him, softened him, and unknowingly became the center of his emotional life. His sadness is clear in how he keeps messaging Gao Tu, trying to keep that connection alive even when the replies stop coming. Watching Shen Wenlang spiral as he realizes Gao Tu is slipping further away is heartbreaking because it shows how much he truly needed him. One of the most emotional highlights is the flashback to when Shen Wenlang accidentally discovered Gao Tu's part-time job at a bar. The scene is set in a dim alley with only a street lamp glowing faintly. Shen sees Gao Tu smoking for the first time, and the image sticks with him forever. That moment is powerful because it's the first time Shen realizes how much weight Gao Tu has been carrying silently. The loneliness in Gao Tu's posture, the way the smoke drifts into the night air, and the golden glow on his tired but handsome face, all of it makes Shen realize that Gao Tu has always been further away from him than he wanted to believe. The show uses that moment to foreshadow their eventual separation, reminding us that no matter how close Shen thought they were, Gao Tu was always standing on a line he could not cross. Another painful highlight is Shen Wenlang's attempt to fix everything by using his influence. He tries to raise Gao Tu's salary, thinking money could solve Gao Tu's struggles. He wanted to provide enough so Gao Tu wouldn't need a side job, so he wouldn't be seen in dangerous places, and so Shen himself could keep him close without worry. But what Shen never understood was that Gao Tu didn't want to be bought or controlled. Gratitude and money weren't enough to tie Gao Tu down. When Gao Tu walked away from HS without hesitation, Shen realized his mistake. That realization crushes him because he thought he was protecting Gao Tu, but in reality, he was pushing him further away. The most gut-wrenching highlight is Shen Wenlang's desperate texting after Gao Tu leaves. At first, Gao Tu still replies, short but polite, like he doesn't want to burn the bridge completely. But as Shen's messages become more desperate and filled with frustration, the replies stop. For Shen, the silence is torture. Every time he opens the chat, it's just his own words staring back at him. 3 days pass without a reply, and Shen finally faces the truth: Gao Tu has chosen to cut ties, and he has no place in Gao Tu's new life. The show doesn't need dramatic confrontations here, the silence is louder than any fight. What makes this goodbye even more emotional is the internal conflict on Shen Wenlang's side. He knows he's losing control, that his emotions are driving him into a corner, but he can't stop himself. He keeps imagining Gao Tu leaving him for an Omega, and the jealousy and anxiety eat him alive. Shen's heartache is shown as both love and obsession, and it's painful because the audience can see how much he truly cares but also how powerless he is to change Gao Tu's choice. The metaphor of suffocation, The feeling that his chest is being pressed down by a rock and he can't breathe, perfectly describes his despair. The farewell between them isn't done with words or dramatic promises. It's shown through actions, Gao Tu resigning, Gao Tu slowly cutting communication, Shen Wenlang holding on to fading connections until there's nothing left. It's realistic and raw, showing us that sometimes love doesn't end with a bang but with silence and distance. That's why this episode hits harder than any shouting match or tearful confession. It's about two people who love but cannot stay together. Looking at Gao Tu's perspective, his decision to leave is one of maturity and sacrifice. He doesn't want Shen Wenlang to carry the burden of his child, nor does he want to entangle their lives with more complications. Gao Tu's love is shown through letting go, even if it breaks his own heart. For Shen Wenlang, it's the opposite. His love is about holding on, trying to find ways to keep Gao Tu close no matter what. These conflicting forms of love clash in this episode, and the tragedy is that neither side is wrong. Both are acting out of love, but love alone is not enough to keep them together. By the end of the episode, what lingers is the overwhelming sadness of Shen Wenlang's solitude. The once lively conversation thread with Gao Tu is now a graveyard of unanswered messages. The office feels empty without him. Every memory, from the smoky alley to the IOU to the way Gao Tu quietly endured everything, haunts Shen Wenlang. The audience feels his loss deeply because we've seen how much he built his emotional world around Gao Tu. Episode 14 doesn't give us closure, but it does give us a brutally honest depiction of a goodbye. It shows us how love can hurt when timing, responsibility, and circumstances pull people apart. The romance of Gao Tu and Shen Wenlang was never about grand gestures but about subtle moments, hidden sacrifices, and unspoken feelings. That's why this farewell feels so heavy. It's quiet, it's painful, and it's real. In the end, Gao Tu walks away to protect his future and his child, while Shen Wenlang is left behind, drowning in silence and longing. Their sad goodbye is the kind of heartbreak that stays with you long after the credits roll. It's the reminder that not all love stories end happily, but the pain itself proves how deep the love once was.